Rising petrol prices means everyone is feeling the pinch at the pump. Meals on Wheels services like this one in Edinburgh are no exception. They deliver food to around 260 vulnerable or elderly customers across the city. But the cost of fuel means getting lunches and dinners to those who need them is getting more and more expensive.
We cover the cost, but the cost of transporting this food, essential food to people, is growing. The prospect of further rises is really going to affect not only our ability to provide food, which we do, it's also going to affect our staff in terms of their ability to travel to and from work.
Nurses who travel as part of their work got a 5p rise in their fuel allowance in April, but some say they're already being left out of pocket as prices spike.
You have to consider how often you go to a patient. And some of our areas are very diverse, a lot of distances to travel. So you have to think, have I got enough fuel to take me to my work? And have I got enough fuel to use my car at home? So sometimes, you don't go out at home because you have to use it for your work.
The price we pay at the pump has been rising for almost 2 years now. In June of 2020, petrol was on average £1.07 a litre, whilst diesel was £1.12. By the 1st of January this year, though, that had gone up to £1.45 for petrol and £1.48 for diesel. However, in the last 6 months, that average price has rocketed. Yesterday, it was £1.80 a litre for petrol and £1.86 for diesel.
This is probably the most uncertain time drivers have ever seen. The drivers are questioning which journeys they make. Obviously, for lots of people, lots of driving is essential because it involves going to work or doing the shopping or looking after a loved one. There's all kinds of reasons that we know that people drive. In fact, 8 in 10 people tell us that they'd struggle to get by without a car. So it's essential for a lot of people.
Meanwhile, haulage companies transporting food and goods across the country are warning that rising prices will be passed on to customers at the tills.
I was speaking to one of our members yesterday who is a 50-vehicle operator, and their fuel bill has increased by £16,000 per week. You may have an operator that can pass that on in terms of a fuel escalator, which then in turn passes the cost on to the end user, so nobody's winning out of that. And secondly, they may have to absorb that cost, which some smaller operators just cannot do.
The UK government says they understand that people are struggling with rising prices and have cut fuel duty by 5p. Wholesale prices fell yesterday. Drivers now need to wait to see if that fuels any reductions on the forecourts. Olly Dickinson, STV News.